30 seconds and counting. T-
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We have a trade rumor circulating around, and this one is surrounding probably the most valuable superstar that's going to be traded this offseason, and that is Damian Lillard. I'll read off the tweet for you here. Quote, "A few team executives expect a Dame deal to happen this offseason, but multiple front office sources say that the Heat, Kings, Knicks, Rockets, and Sixers have been the most aggressive suitors." This is from Kevin O'Connor, NBA reporter. And basically what this is saying is that more likely than not, Dame isn't going to get traded this offseason. But if and when he does get traded, the Houston Rockets are expected to be one of the suitors. And so that's what we're going to look at here. How does a Dame deal make sense for us if it does? And also what it could look like for both teams with the deal, why either team would be interested in this deal. And so starting off with the Damian Lillard side of things, obviously with Dame, the reason why he wants out of Portland is that he doesn't feel like that roster construction is good enough for him to win a championship. And so the assumption is that maybe if he goes to Houston, he will probably have a better supporting cast to help him win a championship. Again, a lot of question marks here as far as why that's possible. But again, we're just going by what the report says and sort of filling in the blanks here as far as what is possible. But again, that's probably the main reason why, is that he feels that Portland is not the best situation for him as far as the roster construction and the help. And so he feels like maybe Houston is one of the teams that could be a potential fit for him with maybe a little bit better help for him to possibly win a championship. Again, a lot of question marks, but that's what it's looking like right now as far as possibility.
Yeah, it just simply doesn't make sense for Dame to come here. I feel like he would most likely want to go to the Knicks or the Sixers. The Rockets just doesn't make sense. And on our side of things, we're in a rebuild phase right now. It just doesn't make sense for us to just throw that all away to land a 31-year-old Damian Lillard for a chance to win a title. And we probably won't have the best chance in the West to even come out of it, you know? And based on what Rafael Stone has been saying, it feels like he's going to see this rebuild through. I mean, he did say he's going to be aggressive this offseason, and he doesn't expect this rebuild to be a long one. But I just don't see him throwing it all away. I mean, it's definitely going to take multiple first-round picks, at least 5 first-round picks, and someone really valuable. And those candidates are Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood. It just simply doesn't make sense for us to do it, and I don't see why this trade would go through. I think the only reason why we're included in this tweet is because we have like the best assets to offer.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why the Rockets might be interested in this is something that I do want to discuss here. We were talking about this earlier, and that's the possibility of a 3-team trade, right? Some of these teams might not maybe have the assets that Portland is looking for. Again, with Miami, you're probably looking at their most valuable asset being like Tyler Hero, because I doubt they'd give up Bam Adebayo, and maybe that's not something that Portland wants. Maybe that's not, Tyler Hero isn't a guy who they're satisfied with being the most valuable asset in a trade for a top 10 player in Dame, and that makes sense, right? No one really wants to trade a top 10 player for a package that is revolving around Tyler Hero. Again, we saw this with James Harden last season, and we're seeing it with Dame now. So maybe what Portland is thinking is, okay, let's loop in the Houston Rockets as a third team to maybe get some better assets while also giving Miami what they want, and then maybe we can loop in the Houston Rockets with some assets in return for whatever they might end up giving up. And I think that might be the most likely reason as to why the Houston Rockets were included in this. But that's what I want to discuss here. How likely is it that there is a potential 3-team deal with the Rockets being looped in as a way for Portland to maybe get better assets to what they would from another team like Philly or Miami?
Yeah, I think the Rockets might be considered as a 3-team trade, maybe if they somehow find a way to offload Wall, but I think that's highly unlikely just due to his massive contract. But in terms of other valuable key pieces that a contender could use, Eric Gordon is definitely a candidate. We know he's being shopped right now with those Indiana Pacers rumors. So we could see potentially Eric Gordon going to the same destination as Damian Lillard, and we might like try to recoup picks back that we tried to that we use like try to recoup some more picks. Like say if Damian goes to New York, we could get the 19th overall pick or something like that. But if the Rockets do try to facilitate a trade between two teams by being the third team, we would definitely have to get like a young talent in return. And like say if it is the Knicks, we should try to get Emmanuel quickly if we do end up giving 1 or 2 or 3 first round picks in order for this trade to happen.
Yeah, and with the Knicks, you could possibly be looking at the Rockets getting Mitchell Robinson or Obi Toppin. With Miami. Again, with Miami, you might be looking at Tyler Hero or something like that, or Duncan Robinson potentially being traded here. With Philly, you're probably looking at either Matisse Thybulle, Tyrese Maxey, something like that. And it's just a bunch of, potential pieces that maybe Portland thinks are good, but not good enough to justify trading Damian Lillard for. And so what they're doing is, okay, let's get a little bit more of a valuable asset from a team like the Houston Rockets, and in return they can get a few more less valuable assets in exchange, and we can send Damian Lillard to the contender that he wants to go to. Again, there are so many question marks about a potential Dame to Houston deal that it makes it so unlikely that this is happening. Again, this is just a report that came out and we're reacting to it, but more likely than not, this is not going to happen. The most likely thing that could have the Rockets having anything to do with Damian Lillard at this stage of this franchise as far as its rebuild is being looped in as a third team, but even that is pretty unlikely because it doesn't make sense for the Houston Rockets to be kind of looped in as a third wheel for a trade that really doesn't have much to do with them. But again, let us know down in the comment section, would you be open for trading for Damian Lillard? Again, let us know down in the comment section if that's something you'd be open to, or would you be interested in maybe being looped in as a third team, getting some extra assets for, sending maybe some picks or player to Portland. Let us know if that's something that you would want to do down in the comment section, and we'll talk about it there. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I am Joel, and I was joined here today by Anish. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.